ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
A financial lifeline for San Diego businesses impacted by closures mandated by the purple tier. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. Lindsay Pena has the night off. Just hours ago, the Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to approve $20 million in aid. ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is joining us now. And Anthony, this money is coming at a critical time for several businesses.
Kimberly, Steve, it is no secret that many businesses have been pushed to the brink during this pandemic. That is something that the County Board of Supervisors is very well aware of. Now, this $20 million temporary relief package will be divided up between the 5 districts in the county, each getting $4 million. It was unanimously approved in a special meeting this afternoon. The money will come from the county's general fund. It will go to businesses in industries that have been severely impacted by COVID-19 related restrictions in the purple tier. Those include restaurants, gyms, fitness centers and yoga studios, movie theaters and museums, zoos and aquariums, and the event industry. The money will be distributed in the form of grants, which means businesses will not have to pay them back.
This is a much needed Band-Aid, but it's really not a solution. You know, the businesses affected, they aren't looking for handouts. They aren't really looking for anything free. They just want their livelihoods back and to get back to work.
Now, businesses will be able to apply for these grants through the county website. We have a link to that page on our website, abc10news.com. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
Not a minute too soon for those businesses. Thank you, Anthony. A San Diego church wants the Supreme Court to put an end to what it calls religious rights violations. Yesterday, South Bay United Pentecostal filed a petition in a federal lawsuit against Governor Newsom. The church and pastor want to stop the ban on indoor worship services amid COVID restrictions. The Supreme Court already rejected the church's attempt to fight the restrictions at the beginning of the pandemic.
And here are the latest numbers for San Diego County. 944 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to more than 75,000. There were also 4 new deaths, bringing that total to 988. And more people are also being hospitalized with COVID-19 across San Diego County, and we're now breaking hospitalization records set during the summer. Concern from those in the medical community is now growing, not only after local Halloween parties, but as we enter Thanksgiving and into December. They expect the numbers to continue climbing into early 2021.
What we're seeing now is what we had predicted. We do worry that 2-3 weeks out from now, are we going to see that number increase as well. New Year's Eve is December 31st. If you calculate just exactly what we're seeing now, people start getting sick in that first 2 weeks, and they get really sick and they get hospitalized.
And some good news is that our hospitals are well equipped with PPE this time around. While many people may be letting their guards down, our health experts are reminding everyone that this is not over and will only get worse if we don't act now. Nearly 4 million Southern Californians are expected to travel this holiday, according to the Auto Club. Despite these rising COVID cases, many are still traveling by car, plane, or train. Our ABC 10 reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz shows us how this year is different for more than just passengers.
Like pretty much everything else in 2020, Thanksgiving travel is looking very different. San Diego International Airport was pretty empty Wednesday afternoon. No crowds or long lines, and everyone was wearing masks. Both arrivals and departures were mostly on time.
Social distance as much as you can, wear your masks. I have 2 on right now.
While it appeared to be smooth sailing for passengers, airline workers are faced with more of a challenge.
For United Airlines, no one has been rehired for the holidays.
Dante Harris is a flight attendant of 21 years and president of the Association of Flight Attendants Southern California chapter. He was one of many hit by massive airline layoffs in October when stimulus money ran dry.
Industry-wide, more than 100,000 employees in the airline industry have been furloughed. It has been absolutely a disaster.
While he's not currently flying, some of his colleagues are, and they're faced with this problem.
Flight attendants are trying to enforce the mask policy, and there are people who get very belligerent, people who are just non-compliant.
Cases across the country are on the rise, yet Harris says some airlines are pushing towards getting back to normal.
Serving alcohol and selling food We are fighting against that because that is not something we want to go back to right away.
The Auto Club estimates nearly 4 million Southern Californians will travel for Thanksgiving. 3.5 million will travel by car and about 270,000 will fly. So if you're heading out for the holiday, keep this in mind.
We're 35,000 feet in the air and all we have is each other. We are asking people to be kind to one another, especially be kind to your flight attendants.
Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
The Association of Flight Attendants says they are hoping that Congress can pass a relief bill sometime soon so that their workers can get their jobs back.
The Saturday after Thanksgiving is normally when small businesses take center stage, but the coronavirus changed everything. As part of our series, The Rebound, ABC 10 News reporter John Horn shows us how mom and pops are having to step up.
We've been in North Park for 8.5 years, and we'd like to try and make it to 9.
For Gail Higgins and mom and pop retailers across San Diego, the coronavirus pandemic has made that complicated.
We give out gloves if people want to try things on. We make sure everyone has a mask on. We keep the door locked so we can let in a certain amount of people at a time.
Higgins and her husband run the Girl Can't Help It vintage store in North Park. Normally, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, called Small Business Saturday, is one that helps boost sales for mom and pops with all sorts of pomp and circumstance to welcome the public. This year, the live music and refreshments aren't happening.
If we want North Park and communities like North Park to be around next year, we have to pull it out this year.
Now, the North Park Main Street Association is helping local retailers beef up their online presence, launching a Shop Local campaign with an online directory on its webpage, Explore North Park. At North Park's Art Alexia, owner Alexia De La Parra says the overhaul could help for the future.
When all this comes back to normal, I'll have a really great website. It's just, you just gotta keep positive.
In that light, Higgins says she has something for any occasion.
Come on, everybody, get dressed up at home. Get dressed up for your next Zoom meeting. We can find you something for the top half.
Something maybe to be found this Small Business Saturday. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
The website is called Explore North Park. It has a Shop Local section, and we have a link on our website, 10news.com/rebound.
There were lots of smiles and full bellies at Father Joe's Villages today because it marked Father Joe's annual Thanksgiving celebration. The organization served more than 700 to-go meals for those people experiencing homelessness. Deacon Jim Vargas told us that sense of unity is more important than ever this year.
A sense of connectedness, a sense that people care for them and that we love them so they can feel our compassion. And frankly, there's the filling of the stomach, but I want to fill their hearts.
As you can hear, there was also some live music and holiday decorations as well. Homeless individuals were also given backpacks filled with resources to protect them during the winter. Major changes are also coming to a San Diego Thanksgiving tradition because of coronavirus. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jared Aaron shows us how the Salvation Army still plans to provide a hot meal to thousands despite the pandemic.
Thanksgiving at Golden Hall is a Salvation Army staple going back 30 years. But a large gathering of 1,800 homeless people and 200 volunteers wasn't possible during a pandemic.
We quickly made some decisions and decided to serve our community in the locations that were in our, all across San Diego at our community centers.
Rather than one community Thanksgiving gathering, the Salvation Army will serve hot meals to go at 4 locations around the county. People can either drive up or walk up. Volunteers like Audrey and Pierre have spent the last week helping get everything ready.
This is what they do every single day of the year. They support the community. So there was no way they weren't going to do something. It's how were they going to do it and how extensive were they going to do it?
Pierre and some other longtime volunteers put together hundreds of go bags this week with fruit and water. They also plan to help give out the hot meals on Thanksgiving Day.
It was fun to see what goes into it and just the mountain of stuff and the coordination necessary to get the supplies there.
While this year's holiday will be different, one thing won't change. The meal serves as a way to connect with the less fortunate and help them through whatever they're facing.
Maybe perhaps in the days to come, we can wrap around that individual, that family, get them plugged in, get them connected so they can get back on their feet as best they can this holiday season.
Jared Aarons, ABC 10 News.
The Salvation Army says it's seen a 300% increase in people looking for help since the pandemic started. And you can keep up with any new developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
Happening right now, we are just getting word of this 3-car crash on southbound 5 at the 905. We do understand that one of the cars involved is a San Diego police officer vehicle. This is Sky 10 overhead taking these live pictures. Also, someone was rescued from one of those cars and then taken to the hospital, trapped inside temporarily until that person could be rescued. You see the backup of traffic on southbound 5 right there, 4 miles. This is way down in the South Bay near the 905. We do understand that San Diego police officer was injured in that crash, minor injuries. We're just getting these details. We are following this crash, obviously, with great repercussions to the traffic in this area. At 10 minutes after 5 on the night before Thanksgiving, already in the afternoon, you could tell traffic was more than usual for a pandemic because people were traveling for Thanksgiving, this affecting traffic in this area in the South Bay. We'll have more as we get more details. And East County residents could get hit with another round of power shutoffs this weekend. SDG&E notified 2,700 customers of the potential outages today. This is to reduce the risk of wildfires beginning early Friday morning. It includes communities such as Alpine, Julian, and Valley Center. And a red flag warning goes into effect Thursday night through Saturday morning for the inland valleys as well as mountains.
We just got those new numbers in the race for the District 2 supervisor's seat. It's been a close one between Joel Anderson and Steve Voss. Last week, Anderson led Voss by 284 votes. It's barely changed. Today, Anderson's lead, it dropped by just 1 vote to 283 now. Both candidates, they are Republicans, so this race will not impact the balance of power on the board. The next update will come after December 1st. President-elect Joe Biden delivered a Thanksgiving address to the nation today, asking American families to do their part to stop coronavirus. And as ABC's Faith Abube reports, the presidential transition is now in full swing.
As American families head into an unusual Thanksgiving holiday amid a surging pandemic, President-elect Joe Biden with a message of gratitude and unity.
So yes, it's been a really hard year, particularly hard for over 250,000 people and their families. But I still believe we have much to be thankful for.
As of today, the coronavirus has killed more than 260,000 Americans and continues its unrelenting damage across the country. The president-elect using his speech to empathize with families sitting down at dinner tables this Thanksgiving filled with grief.
For those who have lost a loved one, I know that this time of year can be especially difficult. Believe me.
3 days since his formal transition began, the Biden team is now in contact with every federal agency. Transition spokesperson Jen Psaki adding the president-elect is preparing for his first classified presidential daily briefing.
We expect the first briefing to take place on Monday.
Though Biden and the president have yet to speak, Trump administration officials are so far cooperating with the transition. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox News.
We'll do everything that's required by law. We'll make this work.
Meantime, the president with no public event on his agenda, instead sending his attorneys to Pennsylvania to discuss the election with GOP state lawmakers. Trump himself speaking by phone, making unsubstantiated claims about election fraud. It comes a day after the state certified its election results for Biden. Rudy Giuliani, whose close associate tested positive for COVID-19 just this morning, also at the meeting.
We don't want to disenfranchise anyone. We want to disqualify 682,000 votes.
And it's unclear whether the president will have any more public events this week. However, yesterday, he did wish every American a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
And just hours ago, President Trump pardoned his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. He made the announcement on Twitter. Flynn stepped down from the Trump administration less than a month after the president was inaugurated in 2017. Flynn pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI that year. His case has been tied up in legal limbo and has avoided being sentenced. But the president's pardon will make Flynn's case moot.